Call of Duty just released the successor for their insanely popular Warzone title, but hopping in, you're likely to notice Warzone 2 doesn't even come close to being the same as its older brother. Because of that, we've put together a list of the 16 biggest changes to help you hit the ground running in Call of Duty Warzone 2. Of course, before diving into the brand new map Al Mazrah, it's important to first know there's a brand new loadout system being brought over from Modern Warfare 2 into Warzone 2. If you've yet to play the new Modern Warfare title, here's the gist of things. There's 50 plus base weapons. These weapons are split into 10 different categories depending on how those weapons are utilized. You can level up these base weapons, and each of them has a unique set of attachments that can be used on other weapons depending on the attachment category. Additionally, once you level a weapon to its max, you'll unlock weapon tuning, which allows you to dive deeper into how beneficial an attachment is for the stats it's already boosting or even those it's negatively affecting. While we know it's a bit complicated, after some hours of play and testing the weapons, it's not as difficult as the barrier to entry may make it seem. Past weapons specifically, we will be seeing the return of perks in Warzone. However, now it will be via the new perk package system, meaning the moment you get your loadout, you'll be given your first 2 perks, and throughout the match, be able to unlock your 3rd and 4th perks. Now that you've at the very least taken a second to look into setting up some weapons, let's talk about the first thing you'll be doing when you load into a match, and that's diving out of the plane. If you've played Warzone 1, no doubt you'll remember being shot out of the sky at some point while just trying to land into the match. However, in Warzone 2, they've actually done away with the ability to shoot while diving out of the plane. This means finding a landing spot is going to be much easier, as you'll be able to fly farther without the stress of being eliminated while still being in the air. But what's still a bit frustrating is that while trying to designate a landing spot, especially with a team, your mark will show up as a white arrow, making it hard to see. So of course, we had to find a better way to do things. Have you and your team go into your settings, and under Interface, you'll find the color customization panel. We recommend changing your neutral color, which is the color for all the pings you place on the map, to a vibrant, easy to find color like pink or red. Then, when marking a location, you'll be able to easily see where your squad is headed. After landing in, you may notice you're hearing voices that aren't those of your teammates.
No. Hey, no. Yeah, no. I just feared my life. Kill me.
But don't worry, you're not going crazy. It's just Warzone 2's third big change. In Warzone 2, there's a new function called proximity chat. While you may have heard of this feature due to its popularity in other games like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, this is the first time it's been implemented in a Call of Duty title. But because this is its first implementation in Call of Duty, many people either won't know it's there or may not quite know how it works, and you can use that to your advantage. So within about 50 meters, you're going to be able to hear your enemies speaking if they're talking to their teammate in game chat. Listen closely and do your best not to do the same as to give your position away. Or if you're looking to make some friends, heck, if you're looking to talk some trash, just chatter away and see what happens. But what you may want to know a bit more about, rather than just those in-game screaming matches, is the brand new looting system. See, back in the original Warzone, looting was pretty simple. You could find random loot throughout the match on the ground, open a chest and it would drop items out onto the ground, or after eliminating an enemy, all their loot would explode into a pile where their body lifelessly lays. Warzone 2 is quite different from that. First, while you're still able to find chests throughout the map that'll dump loot onto the ground, most lootable items are going to be in areas that make sense for that specific loot to be. Looking for heals? Check a medicine cabinet. Looking for money? Check a cash register. Looking for plates? Well, plates are actually just about everywhere. Shoot, you can even find gas cans in gas stations, but we'll get to that later. As for when you eliminate an enemy, you'll be presented with a new bag looting system for dead bodies. This means instead of loot pouring out on the ground, all the enemy's items will be secured into a small bag laying on their location of elimination. And all you need to do is open up that bag and find the items you're wanting to put into yours. Speaking of your bag, Warzone 2's fifth big change is its new inventory system. Similar to games like PUBG and Apex Legends, Call of Duty has decided to change to a backpack-based inventory system, meaning you'll begin with a small backpack and have the opportunity to find medium and large backpacks throughout the map in various chests. These backpacks are going to give you more space to hold items in your personal inventory, as well as being able to hold a third gun, which can be shared with a teammate or switched out if one of the two you're already using runs out of ammo. However, carrying a third weapon isn't the only thing these backpacks can do. With the addition of the backpack inventory system, you have the option to carry as much of one specific item as can fit in the slots available. Whether you find your slots are best filled with armor plates, additional ammo, kill streaks, or self-revives, the opportunities are nearly endless. What's not endless is Warzone 2's sixth big change, and that's contracts. In the original Warzone, you were able to grab recon, scavenger, bounty, most wanted, and supply run contracts. However, Warzone 2 has a fresh approach to things. While some contracts have been removed, others have been slightly changed to fit the new theme of Warzone. For example, these new contracts include old ones like the most wanted and bounty contracts, but also add in the intel and safecracker contracts. However, it's really just a reskin of the old ones, as with the intel contracts, you'll find a piece of intel in the form of a laptop, then upload it at a designated uplink area similar to recons. And with the safecracker contracts, you'll find 3 nearby safes designated on the map, blow them wide open with some supplied explosives, and grab your loot off the ground similar to scavengers. They've also added a new nuke contract, but that's a conversation for a different day, as it can't be simply found around the map like the others and requires a lot more steps to acquire. Once you're able to complete these contracts and find yourself with plenty of money, I'm sure you'll be trying to spend it at a nearby buy station. Well, that's actually Warzone 2's 7th big change. Buy stations got a huge overhaul. In fact, it's now been split into 2 categories: gear and weapons. From the gear category, you'll find equipment, field upgrades, and kill streaks. And from the weapons, well, I bet you can guess that one. While all the gear has different prices according to what you're buying, it's good to note that the weapons section only allows you to buy 1 gun at a time for $5,000 a piece, and there's no option to purchase a loadout drop. 5 free loadout drops do fall during the 3rd circle in a line in the middle of the circle if you're trying to get your perks and equipment from your preset classes. Otherwise, just sticking with weapons isn't such a bad idea in Warzone 2. What is a bad idea is thinking that all that movement you learned, like slide canceling and bunny hopping, is going to work in Warzone 2, because Warzone 2's 8th big change is the slowdown of advanced movement. Plenty of people have already voiced their concerns on this, and you'll likely have your own opinion. But in Warzone 2, movement is much slower. There's no slide canceling, no bunny hopping, and really nothing even close to either. They've actually added in a mechanic called dolphin diving, and regular sliding still remains, even if it is pretty much useless in most scenarios. Additionally, we recommend keeping your weapon sights aimed down and ready to shoot as often as possible, because it's going to take some time to aim down sights with something like an assault rifle, battle rifle, or sniper rifle due to the weight of the attachments in this game. In Warzone 2's 9th big change, swimming, most weapons don't even work. But we should honestly just be happy to have the option to swim, because in the original Warzone, well, this would happen. Swimming in Warzone 2 is actually pretty cool. It has simple mechanics and is very intuitive, like just looking and moving where you want to go. It's best to note you still have to come up for air, and if you don't, the same thing that happened in Warzone will end up happening in Warzone 2. It's also best to be careful where you find yourself jumping into the water. Sometimes you'll jump into an area where there's no ladder and you're forced to swim for a long time. If that's the case, stay below water for as long as possible, because if someone sees you, then you're likely going to be shot like fish in a barrel. Or hey, you could search for a boat. Which brings us to Warzone 2's 10th big change, new vehicles. While there may have been only 4 or 5 vehicles in the original Warzone, Warzone 2 actually has 10 vehicles to traverse all Mazrah. Whether you find yourself on land or attempting to be a river pirate, the option to do either is there. Actually, you could even be a soccer mom and hop in a hatchback. But if you catch someone doing something similar, don't let that sweet facade fool you. There's new mechanics for those vehicles that could get you eliminated if you're not careful. Not only can you lean out of vehicles to shoot your weapon, if you're feeling extra frisky, you can climb all the way on top of the roof and really let those bullets fly. While you're letting those bullets fly, you may as well head on over to Warzone 2's 11th big change, the new Strongholds and black sites. Similar to Fortnite, Warzone 2 added AI bots that fill specific areas of the map, and after eliminating those bots and exploring that area, you'll be able to retrieve higher tier loot. At Strongholds, once you complete a bomb defusal, you'll be able to get your loadout out of a chest where the bomb defusal happened. But don't think for a second that these AIs are going to be a piece of cake. Underestimating them could be your downfall. As for black sites, these are unlocked by completing the Strongholds and finding a key inside. You can then use that key at a black site and go for a round 2 of sorts against even harder AI. And once you reach the end of those AI, you'll find a big bad boss juggernaut that is not to be trifled with. But if you're anything like us, you tend to think your abilities are a bit better than they actually are. And because of that, find yourself dying more often than you'd like to admit. But once you've died, if it's not closed just yet, you'll find yourself in Warzone 2's 12th big change, the new Gulag. While its predecessor had a post-death Gulag that would allow you to fight an enemy in a 1 versus 1 battle to the death, Warzone 2 changed things entirely. To begin with, you're thrown into a Gulag with either your teammate, if they died with you, or a random enemy, and you have to fight 2 other random enemies. Luckily, with the aforementioned proximity chat, you can speak with your newfound teammate. But that doesn't always mean the synergy is going to be there. Or even if you two somehow survive a bit longer, you might end up finding yourself having to fight another Juggernaut in the Gulag. Don't worry though, if the synergy isn't there or the Juggernaut has its way with you, there's still one more chance for you and your team. And that's through Warzone 2's 13th big change, in-game events. Yes, in-game events like jailbreaks and chest restocks are back. But Call of Duty has now added in one additional event that can change the course of any match. And that event is a circle split. During one of the earlier circles, after around 10 minutes of the match, when a new circle is set to form, there's a large chance that instead of one circle, it could split into 2. If that happens, you'll be forced to either go into one circle or the other to continue the match. Then, after the timer is up, the circles will converge into one and the match will continue as it would have before. However, it's likely you'll find a ton of action in one circle or the other, so whichever way you decide to go, be sure to stick with your squad and watch each other's backs. On the other hand, if you're interested in literally watching your own back, Warzone 2 comes with an all-new third-person Battle Royale mode, which of course is Warzone 2's 14th big change. Unlike any past Call of Duty BRs, third-person mode has made its way into Warzone 2 in the form of a game mode. To be clear, this isn't a forced game type, nor is it an option that can be changed by the flip of a switch in your settings or a press of a button on your input device. Instead, be on the lookout for the mode when choosing if you're wanting to play solos, duos, trios, or quads in the pre-game menu, as it may be one of the selectable options. As for Warzone 2's 15th big change, it comes in the form of a new battle pass system. Sadly, this one's a bit confusing, and it's understandable if you can't figure it out at first. Don't worry, we couldn't either. But after a few minutes of toying with it, here's what you need to know. Unlike the simple system Warzone 1 and many other games have chosen to implement, Warzone 2 has a map that you can slowly fill as you unlock more and more tiers. So if you're trying to get to tier A3, first you'll need to unlock Battle Pass tokens by playing the game. Then use those tokens to unlock all 5 items within first tier A1, then all 5 items from A2, revealing A3 for more purchases. Once you've unlocked all the items in all 20 tiers, you'll then be given the final completion items at no additional cost of your Battle Pass tokens. As previously stated, this seems to be unnecessarily complicated. However, it does open up the opportunity to somewhat select what tiers of items in the Battle Pass map you'd like to unlock first. As for Warzone 2's final big change, moving into Warzone 2, we have the loss of Warzone's Resurgence modes. If you're unsure of what I'm meaning, in Warzone 1, we had the Rebirth Island and Fortune's Keep maps. And these maps were available to give players more of a chance to come back throughout the match, as they'd simply be given a timer rather than a gulag when they were eliminated. With Warzone 2's release, not only did we not see the addition of a Resurgence map or mode into the game, they've also taken the first Warzone's Resurgence maps offline. This may come as a shock to a lot of people and is likely to be very frustrating to those that chose to play that on the daily. But there are rumors that sometime next year in 2023, we'll be seeing a brand new Resurgence experience coming to Warzone 2. And those were just some of the biggest changes you'll find in the brand new Warzone 2 overall. Be sure to leave a comment down below letting us know what you think of Warzone 2.0. And for much more on Call of Duty, you're already in the right place, IGN.